3, 2, 1. We are in the Ethos.
MOC Extra.
MOC Extras.
The first video recorded one. So if you're not familiar with Extras, it's not a structured podcast.
If you're not familiar with Extras, go fuck yourself.
It's just...
This is... Oh, God, you explain it.
It's just kind of us talking, not magic related at all. Alex is going to be gone next. During the period of which we would record episode 7. That's why we're wearing the same clothes as episode 6.
We're just sad.
Right afterwards. So it's just kind of an Extras episode, just stuff we wanted to talk about that we feel like doesn't fit necessarily within the structure of the normal Magic of Coffee podcast. But we still wanted to talk about it and get it recorded.
You know what would be good for utilizing MOCs? Getting guests on that don't actually know what the fuck don't like.
That was literally the idea of what came up with this version, this idea of this podcast.
We just never did it.
We just never did it.
Also, like, to be honest, there's not a lot of guests. Like what is it called? Fuck. There's a podcast that's in what's the city right next to us? Starts with a C.
Carrollton?
No.
Corinth.
There's a podcast group over there. A good friend of mine, Billy. I've been on his podcast a couple times.
Yeah.
I think like 4 times actually. They want to do a collaboration where we'll either do Zoom call or we could go over there. He has a humongous house, and then we post. We'll do our stuff. They'll do their stuff. We collaborate it, and then we'll post it as an episode of ours, and then they'll post an episode. You know, we'll have to do. There's a little bit of legal stuff, but legal as in like. If our shit's there, like, we're not going to do any of my music. We're not going to, we'll talk about it, but just for, like, copyright claims, like, it'll be just, like, a joint thing.
That's fine. We can get that worked out. I think that'd be cool. But anywho. We are drinking. I found it at our local Target.
I've had it before. I've actually, at Lucky Lou's.
Yeah.
I've drank that and compared it with actual pickle juice.
It tastes like pickles.
It's a lot more pickly than pickle juice.
Sour pickle beer, made by
the Gas. Jesus.
Odell, I think, is the brewing company, but it's a pickle beer. It's DFW based, so if you're not in the DFW area, you're not going to be able to get it.
Represent.
DFW has some really good craft beer breweries. It's the Martin. It's Martin House is the people who did it. They make really good sour beers.
You know what's sick about DFW that no one really talks about, and if you're outside of the music scene? As a solo artist, I make so much money here.
I mean,
are you making fun of my ethnicity?
No, it's fucking...
Because I'm Asian, you think I would be like...
The more I drink this, the more I like it, I think. But the more I'm also like...
That's how I feel about penis.
All right, so what I wanted to talk about for this week is...
Oh, God, I'm going to die.
The other day, I was kind of up late last night, and I got on Hulu just to watch something to go to sleep to, and there was a documentary called My Scientology Movie, and it was about... it was about a British documentary... British journalist, who was trying to make a documentary about Scientology, but the church was like, fuck you, no.
Oh, of course.
So he was like, cool. So he went to some ex-members and started finding out that stuff, right?
It's fucked.
And then Leah Remdley, she was on Kings of Queens and a bunch of other stuff. She was a Scientologist for years and now made a TV show, 3 seasons worth of a TV show about Scientology and her experiences and other people's experiences with it. And I just delve deep into that shit, right?
Balls
deep. And Scientology is so fucked.
Yeah.
It's a huge cult.
Yeah.
And like everybody knows, Scientology, but it's like, oh my God.
Did you hear about the big area? Like when they would give iPads and shit, they would like block access to Google or any way that you could find out that Scientology is fucked.
Yeah, like there's a big spot in Hemet, California, which is just like north of LA or something like that. It's Gold something in productions, and it's like a film productions studio where they do all of their shit, but it's also like the hub of Scientology. There's a big place in Florida, Clearwater, Florida, but all the crazy shit happens at Gold Base is what they call it. And the Sea Org is there, and the Sea Org is like the executive staff members of the organization. I mean, they all wear like naval type uniforms and shit like that. And it's absolutely insane the brainwashing that happens and that goes on there, and just all the weird shit.
I think I'm gonna get really I'm gonna get some backlash for saying this, but how the fuck as a species are we this fucking stupid?
Oh yeah, no, 100%. It's just, and it's so because I also was like, I've been wanting to like delve deeper into like flat Earth and like why people are so caught up into it.
Did you?
And I think it honestly just kind of stems. I want to look into cults in particular, but I think it's just like religion as a whole is the human condition is that we have to believe that there's some higher being or some higher purpose to our lives for us to be self-driven and self-motivated.
Which I think is.
And that's why people fall into the cult and things like that very easily.
No, yeah. I mean, I get that. Like, people definitely need some form. That's why it's so funny for me, like, when people ask where my morals come from.
Yeah.
You know, because it's just like, dude, if you didn't have the belief that you have, you would probably fucking commit crimes and shit like that. And it's like, my morals are like, hey, don't be a dick. But also, like, let's go back to Flat Earth. Do you know where that came from? It was an athlete, and he was just, I can't remember, he went on like a rabbit hole on YouTube about flat Earth, and he posted it. He posted on Twitter, and then he went on a live interview stating like, yo, I said that shit because I was just like in a rabbit hole on YouTube. I didn't mean for this to get like this rampant. And the person that started this whole thing doesn't believe the Earth is flat. But for some reason, people just went ape shit and continue to believe in it. The guy that made flat Earth stuff public and made it this popular doesn't even believe in it. The flat earther here, dude, I've hung out with him once and only once because I only want to hang out with him once. Guy is fucking, I mean, to put it blatantly obvious, the guy's a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
He says that NASA, like everything that they're doing is nonsense. It's pointless, blah, blah, blah. The Earth is flat, all this shit. And I'm like,
it's crazy when people think, like, just in general, that NASA and like space exploration is just weird, is fake, is because I've literally seen the space station come across the sky before. You know, like if you know where its path is, you can literally see it, you know, if there's not cloud and stuff like that. But it's like, I've seen it several times, honestly. And it's just like, it's there. Like, you know, you can see Mars some nights. You know, you can see other planets in the sky.
Oh, what was it? I think it was last weekend. Or not last weekend, but maybe
a few weekends ago.
Yeah, you could see Mars. It's right there. It looked like a star, but it was
a very like red star. You know,
it was bright as fuck. Yeah. And also, like, for flat earthers to not understand, like, Earth is flat. Okay, cool. Earth is flat. How do, like, satellite pinging? How the fuck does that work?
Satellites, planes literally use the curvature of the Earth to plot their like flights, and like gravity only works because of the roundness of the planet, and this it's annoying, and it's the weird, like, I've come to realize part of the human condition, not to like have this be about the pod, like this extras be about this is just like a segment, but it's just this weird, like, humans love the idea that ignorance is bliss. That's part of the human condition. People just choose to ignore things that are happening because it's easier, you know. And I think that kind of comes into a weird skew of like flat Earth is like, it's easier to believe that the Earth is flat and that, you know, the rest of the universe isn't happening around us than it is to believe that we are, you know, this minuscule speck that got fucking lucky, you know?
Oh, yeah. I mean, and, like, I don't want to I agree with this shouldn't be the part of the podcast, but there is also, like, one thing, and I'm going to brief this, but, I mean, depending on your location, social media does not help at all because, like, it does certain things. I mean, there's it's starting to come to light now that, like, social media can literally collapse countries. They've already done it.
No, so it's like social media in general has gotten so good where they keep you in these bubbles, in these circles, of just like, this is what you want to see, so this is what you're gonna see type thing, and it's literally caused, my theory with the toilet paper thing that happened when COVID first hit is it was a social media thing, because Japan it happened in Japan before it happened to us, and it was a rumor thing that happened on social media that all of their toilet paper came from China, right? And that China shut down, so they won't have any toilet paper anymore. So everybody bought the toilet paper. So I think that got transitioned into those like middle-aged, stay-at-home white mom circles in Facebook and things like that.
Yeah.
And that article hit, and it got shared in those circles, and that's why all those crazy middle-aged, stay-at-home moms.
Oh,
like,
dude,
that was the biggest part of the toilet paper scare.
Dude, to be honest, I wish you were working at Kroger when that shit came in, when that shit got implemented, like canned goods, toilet paper, waters. Dude, I've straight up had to like try to kick people out because they would just like fucking one hand arm bar canned goods. And I'm like, stop. Are people like, cause we have the like senior hour where it's like 8 to 9, seniors come in, we have to ID everyone. And then people that aren't allowed to come in would try to force themselves in. And grocery crew in the morning, grocery crew don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we fighting someone? Heard. And they went in and they were like, what's good? And then they would leave. Hell, there was one guy that it was during the day, but he couldn't wear a mask. And there's a strict, it's state of Texas, but there's a strict, you do not bring guns into Whole Foods.
Yeah.
And he was just flashing his gun and saying like, you got like threatening and being like, do you guys want to see how good my aim is or something? I can't remember exactly what he said, to the point where we had to take a module as to what happens if someone comes in and starts shooting up the place. And I told my bosses, I was like, dude, we live in the South. Like, I guarantee a couple people in here have concealed handgun licenses. And like, you're not allowed to have a gun, but if you flash a badge, then you're allowed to come in with a gun. And several police officers come in and shop. There's a police station right there.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, they come in, I'm like, dude, like, out of all locations, if someone starts shooting up the place, cops are literally behind the store. They'll just come in through the back.
Yeah.
I'm like, what, like, but also like, put your fucking mask on.
Yeah, I was working at Kroger because I started working at Kroger, and there was one guy who had it like around his neck, like the little pull up thing, and just wasn't wearing it. And I was like, dude, I just started working here, like I don't give a shit, but just like, put your fucking mask on, dude. Like, it's the world we live in. Get used to it. And the idea, I have a lot of thoughts on all of this, and we're not going to get into it because that's very divided thoughts. But Sword Art Online, you wanted to talk about that.
So I just finally started watching season 3.
So good.
I have only 5 episodes in, but it's fucking confusing, and
I can help clear some air for you with that.
Sure.
And help, like, I won't spoil anything, but I'll be like, this is what to look out for type stuff.
I don't want to know why he's fucking stuck in this game.
Yeah.
Because he got hit by what's his fuck it.
He got stabbed. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I said, what's his fuck it? And then he just woke up in the game and he was like, oh, this is ba ba da ba za. And I was like, why are you in there? Then he has the sword, and then like I was talking to the person I was watching this with, and I was just like, man, this looks a lot like Goblin Slayer. And she was like, well, and then there were goblins, and I was like, so I was getting raped.
To like, I guess you do find out, and you should have already, but it's connected to the stabbing. To some regard,
the last episode that I watched, it was when his buddy claimed, because his role or whatever was fulfilled because he chopped down the tree, and then he was like, I'm gonna be a swordsman. And then they talked about like, and that was the end of it. And then they traveled, and the last episode they were traveling to the Darklands or whatever the fuck it's called.
Well, they're not going to they should be going to the capital at this point. If you think this is like, because you've come in and kind of seen me watching it a couple of times, but that's like very later on in season 3.
Yeah.
So you'll probably like forget what's happening. But oh boy,
I did.
Hits
I
the
was
fan,
when you were doing it, I was not paying attention.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, So there was nothing spoiled there.
Yeah. But it's super good. Like, I understand people's problems with Sword Art Online, like the rapey stuff, like especially in like like the second half of season 1 when
Dude, I
Asuna's
mean,
trapped
yeah,
in the game.
That shit sucked.
Yeah.
But like, I could name off what I literally just the other
Goblin
anime.
Slayer.
That
Yeah.
one, there's not like
No.
kind of a slight hint to it. It like fucking happened.
Yeah, it's very rapey. Yeah, just interesting. You didn't see that. Whatever. My cat eats paper.
Yeah, that's weird.
But it's interesting, and I think. Have you watched the movie yet?
No.
The Ordinal Scale. It's on Hulu. You can watch it. And I would kind of maybe suggest watching it, because it plays into some points much later on in season 3, like some of the stuff that happens, and it's very good. The movie is, but season 3, like, they could have ended it there, at the end of season 3, and like that be the end of it, but they're not. There's like he's still writing books, and there's 4th season coming, but Sword Art Online Progressive is happening, and what Sword Art Online Progressive is it's Asuna's version of them trapped in the game in season 1, and it's a much more in-depth kind of like reworking of it all.
I wouldn't mind getting more like info on that, dude. Season 1, dude. When the thing that everyone, the rapey thing that everyone was like worried about, like when I got so immersed when they got a house and they were like, we're trapped, fuck it. When they got a house, they got the chick or whatever, the girl, and they were just a family. I was just like, this is beautiful, blah, blah, blah. And then like shit started going down, and then fucking one guy was just like, and I was just like, kill him.
Yeah.
Kill him.
So there's some really cool stuff. So yeah, like Progressive, because it's like 20 fucking volumes of it, right? Sword Art Online itself is 26 volumes. Progressive is like 20 volumes, and it's literally that story. It's their 3 years in the game, but it follows Asuna instead of Kirito. And it's super cool, and I'm super excited for it. And that's coming out before season 4 of SAO comes out.
Yeah.
But dude, it's so good, and I'm so excited that you're like getting into it, because I'll say, so it's season 3 is 52 episodes in total, right? So it's 12. They come out 12 episodes at a time, and they took small breaks in between all of them.
Yeah.
The last 12 episodes, and I'll admit it on camera, it made me cry every episode, just because of the weird payoffs and all the stuff that's happening. Like, because I've been watching it since season 1 came
Fucking
out.
pussy.
Yeah, like I've been super invested in the show and like the characters and things like that, and it was just, dude, you just like, you'll get emotional, but that also segues being emotional into something I thought about when you were making that last batch of coffee.
Oh God, are you about to cry?
No,
It's MOC Extras, dude.
is what one thing will make you cry, no matter what.
One thing that'll make me cry.
Yeah. Like surface level. Don't try to get too deep. into it.
Let's talk about my traumas on a public podcast.
Yeah.
One thing that'll, man, honestly, so there are certain things that make me feel fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Like to be honest, like I have such a fucked up view on how I think things should be, like overpopulation and shit like that, and like war and the benefits of war and things like that. The one thing that I like that makes me feel human is like, so there's this one time, this doesn't make me cry, but this will show like a certain emotion. I'm trying to figure out what makes me cry.
Yeah.
So I'm a solid ball of, but there is this one time where my sister, she was really young.
Yeah.
And she was like trying to win this, like, it was a quarter machine. She was trying to win this phone, right? Because she wanted a phone so bad. We couldn't afford phones. She wanted this phone so bad. And she finally got it. I had a phone because I was older. This is how bad I felt, right? So she finally got it. She finally won it. She was like, "Oh fuck!" And then it turned out to be just a calculator, and she was so devastated. And I felt that was the first time that I felt like empathy towards human beings. I think, like I felt empathy, but that was just like the reason why I say that is because I felt so terrible that I legit. And we changed the names over. I gave her my phone. So I didn't have a phone for a while because she was so devastated because she worked so hard to get that phone that I was like, no, fuck this. So I had like a shitty flip phone. And I gave her the flip phone. It was fine. It was easy. I mean, I got another phone eventually. It was like a couple months later, but I had no intentions of getting another phone.
Yeah.
But I felt so bad. But also, I mean, that said, like, I don't feel nearly as bad in those scenarios as like my sibling, but at the same time, like there are certain situations where someone's just like, they don't like feel sad. They're just kind of broken in a way.
Yeah.
Like something happens. They're just like I felt really bad when like you lost your job.
Yeah.
I was just like, well, fuck. That's why I was just like, all right, fuck all my plans. We're going over there. And then, and then we hung out. Because I felt like an actual human empathy. You're also different, but you know, strangers, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Well, that's, I could say what I'm going to talk about fits in that way too. But it's like,
You need tissue?
no. I'm just trying to find the right way to phrase this. The sad, like, meow cats make when they're, like, super uncomfortable and they're, like, not, like, okay. And, like, we had to take Hash Brown to the vet the other day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we, like, took forever getting her to the carrier, but in the car, she was just so sad and you could hear it. And it was just like, I was just like, you can't do this right now. Like,
I'm driving, motherfucker.
like, I can't. No, yeah. And I thought about it because it was just like, man, that is like the one thing that'll just like instantly, and I'm just
Animals like cry
that
for help.
sad, like cry for help. Yeah.
Dude, honestly, you would think I'd get really sad because I'm a super big like animal protection activist or whatever. Not activist, that's a poor word. But dude, honestly, I don't get sad. The reasons why it happens, 9 times out of 10 is because of abuse, so I just immediately get angry. I'm just like, what's happening? Like, I told you about, like, the 3 dogs that I straight up told animal control I'm taking.
Yeah.
And they're like, that is 3 state felonies. And I was like, you better hurry the fuck up then. And then I hung the fuck up. I also called her a cunt, and then I hung up, and then a police, like, she was like, everyone's busy. And then a patrol car, instead of animal control, just showed up, gave that bitch a ticket. I was out in my van just, like, smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
And I waved at her. And she got a ticket and brought the dogs back in. And I was like, bitch, I will take your dogs and fuck your car up.
Yeah.
I think one thing that makes me cry, there's a couple videos in my head, but I think there's one in particular that I think, I don't know if it'll make me cry on command. But there's one, I'm a mama's boy, so let's premise that, right?
All right.
There's this one, this I can't remember what country he's from, but he went overseas or came here, and then he was just like big, tall, black dude, seems really like I would take him out for a drink and we'd just like vibe. And so he came into the door and his girlfriend's filming, and his brother was there, and then he was like, oh my God, what's up? Started crying a little bit, hanging out. But in the video, his mother was there, and he didn't see her at the time. And he hasn't seen his mother for 10 years.
Oh.
And so as soon as he sees her, he immediately, like runs around to try to hug her, but he collapses and just starts crying. And then it was just like a hug. And then I was just like, I think that'll do it for me.
Yeah.
I think like just like seeing mothers or whatever, because, that's my mother raised me,
No, yeah, no, I get that for sure. Yeah, I had the thought, and I was like, well, we're doing like MOC's extra, I can ask the question.
I think the issue is like for specific things, like there's certain things that make me so like sexual assault. Immediate, like, who am I fighting? Whose neck am I breaking? Dog abuse again. So I think the issue is I mix up me needing to feel sadness for someone versus I want to take action instead.
Yeah.
So I'm a ball of Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
I think he cries.
Yeah, he cries a lot.
He's a big old
But he's
softy.
also in tuned with his emotions, and I just am a ball of anger.
Yeah. Old Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Oh, Dwayne.
Running for president 2020.
Dude, I'm
2024.
so down.
I think I'm not gonna get into talking about that. Never mind. What are the things you want to talk about?
So let's talk about my camping trip.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of drama, and it's dumb as shit. We're not going to talk about that. I'll summarize it, and whoever listens to this, like, you can get the opinion on that. It's a bunch of people that go to a climbing gym, like a rock climbing gym, versus people that go. Now this is just at night. Versus people that go to the bar at night, and the climbers are ridiculing the people that go to the bars at night because they think they're at higher risk. Versus the gyms, you're more close quarters
Yeah.
than the actual bars.
Yeah.
Because the bars have way more regulation because the state loves shutting down bars.
Yeah. They're the first ones to go.
Yeah. But So outside of that, I'm going to Arkansas to this place called Horseshoe Canyon. That it's literally just like I'm hanging out with a bunch of people that are rock climbers, and they're just going to climb rocks, like walls and shit, and it's going to be great. I'm not going to do that, but for a couple days out of that trip, I'm going to be there from the 15th through the 19th. I think like 5 days. And I'm just literally, there's going to be one day or a couple days where I'm going to just pack light and just go and just explore and then camp on my own. I might take someone, but more than likely I'm just going to go on my own. And that's going to be great. It's not necessarily for soul searching. I think I just want to camp on my own and then also hang out with them. There's a couple people, well, I can't say that on the air. There's stuff to be had that is not necessarily legal, but going to be a lot of fun. I'll tell you later.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's interesting. It's also dumb because it's like we went to a bar last week, and it's definitely tables are 6 feet apart. Like everything's very strict. It's pretty much restaurant style now.
Yeah,
and
that's the whole argument too. Is just like bars are at with the CDC. With CDC, fuck you guys. But the bars are 9, and the gyms are 8. And the argument is gyms are 8, but Summit, I didn't mean to name bomb, the rock climbing gym is not necessarily a gym because they have more regulation and they also like have higher ceilings. Also, say like Rip Rocks that we went to is technically classified as a restaurant right now, so now we're underneath. So now the two things that are like at high risk because of the two arguments, now they're lower. Now it's the whole thing this entire week has just been back and forth.
Yeah.
You know, because it is technically kind of like a restaurant.
It is. Rip Rocks is a restaurant at this point. That just serves alcohol.
Lucky Lou's is officially open now, and there's 2 food trucks. They're trying to get a third. There's food in the back, behind the bar. You're not allowed to go to the bar. You're technically not allowed to walk around.
You're supposed to sit at a table.
And then you take your mask off and you drink and smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Let's say that's unhealthy. But like, dude, no one can look me dead in the face and say that everyone that goes to a rock climbing gym is healthy. Like, I know some of you fuckers. Y'all are fucking unhealthy fucks.
I know plenty of people that are peak athletes that like go to bars just to like have a drink, you know.
Oh, dude, I have a buddy. He's fucking chiseled.
Yeah.
Guy can drink whiskey like it's no one's business.
Yeah.
And he smokes like a chimney. He just goes to the gym all the time and fucking works out. The differences between the two is there's a lot of pros and cons with bars, and then there's also pros and cons with climbing gyms. But like the only big difference is the rock climbing gym does temp checks versus the bars don't. But the bars, you're technically not allowed to go inside for the most part. You stay outside because there's no ceiling versus the rock climbing gym, even though it's tall, has a ceiling.
Yeah. And
so there's so many different like, well, my gym does this, well, the bar does this. Well, the gym does this, well, the bar does. And it's so back and forth. So today, I'm actually going to like put my entire opinion to this entire group, and then
whatever happens.
And then there's certain people in the group that if they start arguing with me, I'm just like, shut the fuck up, you fucking follower. Coming out here like you own the place.
Yeah.
Speaking of travel, I want to tell you about my van.
Yeah, you're having some issues.
No. I mean, it overheated, but I forgot to feed my girl. No, so we completely changed the upgrades.
Oh, yeah.
So, since the pandemic, we have been able to just work out the plans and kind of solidify them. Before we do that, let's take a side note here. Can you fix your fucking mic rope? Turn it around.
Right here?
Yeah, on both sides.
That's weird. It's not going anywhere.
It's been bugging me and down there. It's been bugging me literally the entire. Look at mine. So nice and pretty. No,
are you happy? It's fixed. Dude, I just fixed that one.
Dude, it bugged me fucking the whole time we've been recording. I've just been like, I'll wait till the extras. So I was talking to my buddy Mark. He's been converting his like flatbed trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just like complaining about room. I'm like, it's fine. We're extending the top so I can actually stand properly. But it's literally just like a big ass hallway. you know, and like I don't have a very big kitchen. I'll have counter space, I'll have storage, and then a futon that I can lay out. And I'm like, I still have to be such a minimalist, and it's not necessarily frustrating. I just wish I had more. And then he was like, well, legally you can't exceed 13 feet, and it's unrealistic for you to go horizontal, like extend the van in horizontal. And he was like, why don't you just go 12 feet? And then take a queen size bed, like so when we saw off the top and extend it, saw off only half, reinforce that the top, and put a queen size bed up there. And then you'll just have a ladder or like a stair thing that you can take on and off, and then you just sleep up there, and you can put windows up there, a window on the top so you can just look at the sky when you're asleep. And I was like, that's a perfect idea. And then I talked to my mother about it because we're doing the upgrades. And she was like, that makes a lot of sense because we won't have to remove the passenger seat that I was going to actually do to put the AC unit in. We'll put the AC up top so it hits the bed. We'll take the futon out. I'll have a bigger kitchen, bigger living space, more storage, a place to actually walk around, places to sit, things like that. Well, there's more room. And then because I'm just going to go into the bed, and it's not like I'm going to do anything in the bed. I mean, let's be real, I might fuck, but like, I don't really need a stand for that. You know what I'm saying? Or if I'm camping, I just go fuck outside. You know what I'm saying?
Sorry.
What are you doing?
I got on Twitter on accident.
God damn it.
Some weird shit's happening in the world.
Did you get all that?
That's not podcast related. That shouldn't be spoken on the podcast. Yeah, I got all that.
No.
Your upgrades. I think that's a good idea. I think it'll be tough.
It'll be tough, but my mother's a welder in the Air Force, so it's like, so what we're going to do if we can't find an extent, so we have three options. Either one, find an extension in the van, in the top, that it'll make it hit at least 11 to 12 feet.
Yeah, my nose.
Two, we find a big-ass boat.
I'm on a boat, and it's going back. Sorry.
So we're going to find a boat, weld it on top, so clear the entire guts of the boat, like no engine is just going to be as wide, and then we'll extend it and then put all the paneling on the sides and things like that. Or we'll get a bunch of car doors, rip out all the paneling, everything, saw it all down, and then weld it all together, and then paint it. Literally, my mom was like, yeah, I definitely can do that. Like, it's easy. If we can't find, like, a big enough roof. You know? I mean, realistically, I could find a small camper instead, but one that's much more gas, and two, it's still more expensive versus, like, going to a junkyard and just getting doors.
Yeah.
So.
What time is it? All right.
30? That's not bad.
34.
I got a couple things, and then
Yeah.
and then I got nothing.
I don't really have anything else. We could talk about the games I'm playing.
Yeah, we can
interesting. Side note before we go into the big thing, Markiplier has now a character in AFK Arena.
I saw that video, but I was like, oh, this is clickbait, and this feels like an ad.
It's a huge ad. Like, he made a campaign, all this other stuff with AFK. Now has a character in the game. So I downloaded it. I haven't played it yet, but I was like, you know what? If this is the thing that's gonna make me play this game, well, sure, whatever. Fine. All right. But Among Us, I've been playing a lot of that.
I need to play that fucking game.
It's so much fun. You can download it on your phone.
My sister live streams it right now.
Yeah. And then Genshin Impact, I'm probably saying that wrong.
Genshin Impact?
Is it's a world the size of Breath of the Wild, or like most other like
you were telling me about that.
games. Yeah. But it's a gacha where in fact that you just like spend money to get new heroes and things like that.
Yeah.
But it's actually really fun. You can get it on PlayStation 4, Steam, and then like on iOS devices.
Is it cross-platform or no?
Not yet. I think they will. And I'm waiting for controller support to come out with the update for it.
You know what's cross-platform now that I didn't know? Just side note. It's in beta right now, but Apex.
Yeah, I think Apex is going cross. Yeah.
There's a beta right now where they're just kind of testing it, and everyone that plays does it. By the way, I used to be really good at Apex Legends. I am straight ass now.
Yeah, the game's changed a lot. I know Warzone is cross-platform.
Yeah, the problem is this laptop doesn't support it.
Yeah,
I mean, it supports it. It's
fucking game.
fucking humongous. That's the reason.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna. I was like, the new Call of Duty stuff that's coming out is pretty cool, but I'm not gonna. I don't really care.
Also, like the game. Oh fuck! What is it? Modern Warfare is officially you cannot put it on a 250 gigabyte hard drive or SSD. Yeah.
It's too big for it.
I was like, what the fuck? How is a game that fucking big? Destiny is humongous, and it's only 195 gigs.
It's not even that. It's
I thought
like
it was
125, 130.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was 195.
No,
I might be wrong.
It's like, I think on Steam, I think it's pushing 150. But
Dude,
like,
I mean, even No Man's Sky, one of the biggest games I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But they load as you travel, kind of like Minecraft. And the game's not that big; it just renders. Early.
The Witcher 3 is 40 gigs. The Witcher 3 is 40 gigs. One of the biggest open world games of all time.
I still haven't played that. I need to play that.
I have tried to play it 4 different times, and I just could never. But I'm willing to play the same stupid level on Destiny 100 times. So, you know.
I get that. I played Warframe.
Yeah, you know.
Speaking of like open world shit, I've been playing. We talked about it earlier, obviously. I've been playing ESO
Yeah, you're talking about that. Yeah.
because I was trying to find it. So, No Man's Sky, like eventually, like if I'm playing alone, I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
You know, I want to play with friends. You know, you play Magic enough, and it's like, okay, now it's turning into. It feels like a job. So I'm like, all right, I need to like, when I want to play something casually, I need to not play Magic.
Yeah.
So, you know, I play Magic often, but I need to play something casual, you know? So I played like Apex and things like that.
I gotta feed my cat.
So I was playing Apex for a little bit and I was like, all right, well, I'm trash at this and I don't really want to play a game where I have to be focused, you know? I play like Pokemon Go and things like that, but it's like, you know, you if you're in a certain area, it doesn't work because there's no Pokemon around. So then I started playing ESO because I was like, maybe this will work. And I stayed up from like, I started at I think like 10, 11 p.m. last night. I went to bed at fucking 3 because I was just traveling. I was just doing casual shit. I was mining, chopping down wood, buying and selling shit, killing zombies. It was simple and easy. And then there was also quests that I could do, but I just never did. And so I was like, okay, this is the fucking game that I'm going to play to make sure that like I don't get burnt out on like life because I have the business to take care of, Whole Foods, podcast stuff, which all of it's like, it's not a hassle. It's just like,
No, I 100% understand. And Avengers was supposed to be that for me, the Avengers game that came out.
yeah.
And then it's just a broken piece of garbage. It has less than 1,000 concurrent players on Steam at the.
Oof.
That game died.
That game got.
Yeah, which sucks. I mean, No Man's Sky is a perfect example of a game, you know, coming back full circle.
Yeah. They're getting
Fallout
there.
76 apparently is actually like a good game now, which is cool. But
I mean, I take Bethesda stuff with a grain of salt. Like, I fucking hated ESO at one point.
yeah,
It was just because I was trying to do PvP and you would do surges, but you would have to, when you die, you go back to the last territory that you claimed, which could be like in-game miles away.
yeah,
And you would just travel, get there, immediately die by a rogue,
yeah.
back over there. You have to just keep doing that until
Yeah.
the siege is done.
And I'm interested now that Microsoft has Bethesda, ZeniMax, if they'll
Yeah.
continue to support ESO or pivot that studio to build the next Elder Scrolls game or not. I don't know what they're doing. I mean, it's super cool that Microsoft bought ZeniMax and got all the studios like
Yeah.
Doom Eternal. Like I'm super. It also like helps me for like my career choices because you know, I'm gonna have to in a couple of years pick which studio I want to work at. You know, if I
True,
want to
yeah.
stay in town, you know, work at id Software, which is in
Yeah.
Richardson, or which they make Doom, or like Bungie up in Washington or something like that. You know, there's a lot of opportunities for me. So
Yeah, I mean, I also, you know, my buddy Connor, if you wanted to, and then depending on where we are in our time,
yeah, I'm 2 years.
yeah, I mean, he literally is a game tester for a company.
Yeah, you know. So
Yeah. So I mean, it's like there's a couple options. I've thought about doing shit like that, but I'm like, I don't really want to go to school.
Yeah.
So I didn't.
It's tough. The clouds are coming, like passing the sun, and then on my side of the room, it's just like, or then not, which is funny. But yeah. Trying to think of what else we can talk about.
I have one other thing, and then we either can end it or whatever.
All right.
Tattoos. You see this
Oh, yeah.
marking? See this marker everywhere? So I've had to measure out my tattoos, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I had a meeting with my tattoo artist.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember if I told you this.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a meeting with Brad. So, fun fact, if you're in the Denton area, Brad Reed from Metropolis has done literally every one of my tattoos and will continue to do so until we're done with the sleeve. That said, I texted him the other day and I was like, dude, I don't think I'm ever going to get tattoos again unless we pick a dead set plan. And he was like, all right, come to the shop around 5. And I was like, I heard. So go over there. And he's like, all right, what's going on? And I was like, I have all these tattoos. I know exactly where they need to go. I know exactly what I want. I need your help.
Yeah.
Or I'm not going to go. And he was like, okay, fine. Pulls out his calendar. What about this day? And I was like, well, I'm going to Arkansas. And he was like, cool, 24th. And I was like, yeah. So 24th, I go and get tattooed. Here's the thing. So he was like, look, you don't need to give me a certain amount of money. My minimum is $60. Come in, give me $60. I will tattoo you for an hour. You do that for every paycheck, your shit will get done. If you bring me more, great. If you don't, great. And then he was like, so when we're done on the 24th, we're going to pick another day. And then you're going to come in. And you're going to give me minimum $60. And then I'm just going to keep tattooing you until this fucker's done. And I was like, that's a brilliant idea.
I might go hit Brad up because I need more tattoos.
You should.
Because I do want like this to be a sleeve. So
It's really easy, especially if you talk to him. Just like, I want a sleeve and I want you to do the sleeve. Because I remember before I got any tattoos, I was just like, no matter how much, no matter the time, no matter the pain, I want this done. He's like, all right. So the pain aspect, I'm getting my elbow tattooed, and I'm either gonna get Saturn or Pokeball.
all right.
And it's gonna fucking hurt like a bitch.
Yeah.
But I don't give a shit. Pain aspect isn't the problem. It's the fact that like for some reason I'm like, I could get a tattoo right now. Or
It's that itch.
yeah, but it's like I don't fix the itch for some reason. Like I smell the solution of the tattoo shops all the time. Like I know I want it, I just never do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was like, dude, we'll just keep doing it. Like you can just give me $60 every paycheck for like a year and your sleeve will be done.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can, and then I was just like, okay, yeah, that's fine, blah, blah, blah. And I even was like talking to a couple of my friends and I was like, dude, there's going to be one day where I'm going to need to just like, I'm going to be impatient. So I told him, I was like, if I make $400 one paycheck, I'm going to give him 3 and then I'm going to live off 100. Can you guys feed me? And they're like, yeah, that's fine. Because 100 will go to the fucking gas,
Yeah.
you know? And so, yeah, so that's the business plan. I'm going to give him, I've measured everything. And so literally what's going to happen is I'm going to go in with a certain amount of money, tell him a certain amount. I go in, we figure out what he wants to do. Like I'm doing hand tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just going to tattoo me until my time's up and then give him money, leave, come back in 2 weeks, whether the others are healed or not, because it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
To be honest, I've done this side 8 hours. Literally the next day, 6 hours, the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Like the pain aspect doesn't actually fuck with me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just getting in there and giving him money. For some reason, I have a problem with that. So that's where we've gotten so far. Is just he schedules me to come in and I have to come in. You know,
Yeah. Now you got me on a
tattoo streak.
I'm looking into it. I think I know what I'm going to do.
What you gonna get?
It's a show you should watch also is Demon Slayer.
I've heard about it.
Water Dragon.
Demon Slayer. Have I heard of that?
It has my favorite moment of anime in 2019 in it. Just to like, you know.
Let me see if I know it. Oh, I've seen stuff of it. I just haven't watched it.
Yeah. Well, his like water dragon that he does, like with his attack, I actually could see that. That'd be pretty cool. Anywho. Yeah.
Is that it that we got? Is that it? We doing it?
I think that's what we're doing.
Alrighty. Well, again, this is the first MOC on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed it.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Share with your friends.
Share with your bitches.
Yeah, if you want us to continue to do extras on YouTube in particular, just show us some support.
Yeah, we'll do it. I mean, if not, then our Patreons will get it, and you won't.
Yeah, pretty much.
Dolly.
So, but yeah, so hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Discord link is in the description down below.
If you are watching this on any audio podcast platform, you can follow us on YouTube to subscribe on YouTube.
Yeah, and well, enjoy the rest of your days.
I don't know if that should be the outro. Of
I don't know.
MOC. I don't think we actually had an outro.
No, we didn't. We just ended it.
I like build. That was dumb.